Hi, this is Jim Lange. In our last video, we talked about what I consider the inevitable tax decreases followed by tax increases, and I mentioned that death of the Stretch IRA was very important in this analysis, and we should be taking action now about that, and that Roth IRA conversions were a natural part of what we should be looking at now. And I also said that Social Security and Roth IRA conversions are not two separate decisions, but actually an integrated whole, if you will, that should be looked at, if you will, synergistically. So I'd like to talk probably for the next couple videos about Social Security. Now, one thing is there have been some major changes in the Social Security law that were effective on April 29th, 2016. If you are a long-term follower of my information, you will know that in 2015 and early 2016, I was screaming at the top of my lungs. I was doing videos. I was doing workshops till I couldn't stand it anymore, telling people, if you qualify for apply and suspend, hurry up and then do the application, because if you miss the application by April 29th, 2016, it's too late. So what I tried to do desperately was to get people grandfathered under the old system, and I'll show you what a huge difference that would make. All right, now unfortunately now that ship has sailed. Hopefully you were one of the people who either figured it out on your own or perhaps did hear me in the late 2015, early 2016 period and took advantage of it. And by the way, I did everything I could. I wrote a book, and I did a whole slew of radio shows. Now there are some changes to a different technique called claim now, claim more later, but let's say the dissolution of the apply and suspend technique really did hurt. That doesn't mean, however, that you can't do some really important Social Security strategies. So what I'd like to do is to go through what I consider some of the Social Security basics. Before I do that, let's get an idea of the scope of the difference between getting Social Security and Roth IRA conversions right and not getting them right. So let's take a look at Mr. Red and Mr. Blue. Mr. Red says, hey, I worked until age 62. I am done working. I'm not going to mess around with Roth IRA conversions, and I'm going to take my Social Security right now. And you could see in the graph where Mr. Red goes over time. Mr. Blue, if he was fortunate enough to have received this advice before April 2016, he utilized the apply and suspend technique, and he also, because he was holding off on his Social Security, and this is a critical point, his income was lower, he was in a lower tax bracket, he could afford to make more Roth IRA conversions at a lower tax bracket. And he did that for a number of years. And then you could see the difference of where he ended up compared to Mr. Red. All right, now you might be saying, oh, gee, Jim, that looks great, and I'd love to be Mr. Blue, but either my birth date came on the wrong date, or I missed the opportunity to do apply and suspend. What is the difference between getting Social Security right and Roth IRA conversions right versus not getting them right at all? So basically, what is the impact if you missed apply and suspend, but you're going to do everything else right for Social Security, everything else right for Roth IRA conversions? And let's compare that to Mr. Red, who I'll call Mr. Status Quo, who is taking Social Security early, not using any of the marital techniques, and also not doing any Roth IRA conversions. And you could still see there is a difference of millions of dollars between Mr. Green. Mr. Green, by the way, is assuming that you're doing everything right except for apply and suspend, and Mr. Red. So you can see there is a significant difference in getting these strategies right. And by the way, I have assumptions on all those. In fact, I will show a slide of the assumptions. The assumptions are fairly reasonable, but here's the point. even forgetting a difference in investments, the difference in strategy can easily be the difference between being broke and having more than $1 million. So this is really valuable, and particularly with the death of the Stretch IRA coming and what is likely to be going on in our country, providing that long-term financial security for you and your family, I think, is critical. Thank you.